violence against women won't end until men become part of the equation.
Minuteman has been around since 2005.
But we are committing ourselves to change, and in the theme of the conference, we believe that men can make a difference.
Most men are not sexually violent. Most men do not like the thought and they do not support those behaviors. So it's time for them to step up and say, you know, we are big, strong, powerful men who care deeply about the women in our lives, and we're going to stand up and learn and carry our message forward.
Energized. Yeah, I came, I didn't know how many men were involved. I think that this was a good opportunity for me to see who else is in, which other men and where they are from, as far as them being interested in women's issues.
I think we actually may have a majority of men in this room, and that's pretty amazing.
And there's no middle ground. You know, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Ain't no way to just hang out. Find yourself as a good guy. Yeah, you're a good guy, but you're still, nevertheless, part of the problem or part of the solution.
The idea that because we are men, there's something inherent in us that we should be ashamed of, that I cannot endorse and not accept.
You have power. I want your power. I want you to use your power to go make some changes. Don't just become sensitive and gentle like us. You know, access the power that you have to go in there and knock some heads together, metaphorically speaking.
Men who do the right thing are joked and teased about too. So we need to help that piece.
How do kids learn that? They're taught that.
So we'll talk to Nate about a jump shot, but we won't talk to Nate about love. We don't talk about love. What would it be like if when we talked about the healing of men, what would it be like if we had more conversation with young men about love than about their jump shot?
There's such a culture of violence that is a part of bonding as men. So when you step outside of that box and start to talk differently to each other, that is very courageous.
And my impression is that there is a lot of work to be done, and there is always something that me as an individual I can do.
So it's clear that if you could increase the engagement of men in the prevention of sexual violence, you could conceivably decrease the incidence.
This is men's work. This is our responsibility as men.
I take with me some tools to perhaps make a little bit of a change in the community that I work.
This work is definitely, absolutely about race, class, and gender. And we absolutely know that we are not going to end violence against women until we address all those issues.
Having a conference like this, where it's half or a majority of men even, it's really exciting, it's really thrilling, and the possibilities for the future are great, but it really puts in the forefront how much we have left to go.
We have to be clear about the urgency, because women are dying.
It may not seem as bad to you, or you may think it only happens to particular women, or, you know, it's just a joke or whatever, but get really immersed. Talk to your sisters, the women you're working with. Find out what's really going on in your community.
We're doing the work when you leave here and continue the conversation. That's doing the work. These men go back to their university, their college, and work with the men. That's doing the work.
I'm feeling hopeful, definitely. After a few of the sessions, I was kind of like, whoa, it was very intense. But just leaving on the note on moving forward and just seeing all the men in here.
Well, I thought it was a magnificent conference. It's the first time I ever come to a sexual violence conference, so I did learn a lot.
And I think when we recognize that we can separate between guilt and shame, that we can be accountable, we can own that guilt, yet not fall into that debilitating sense of shame, it helps us find the strength to continue to do the work.
If you leave here today acknowledging that yes, domestic and sexual violence is rooted in a patriarchy, and then that means, and then what about me? And if you're willing to look at your sexism and how you act and begin to name it, and I'm not just saying you, I'm talking about me, I'm talking about Chuck, I'm talking about Rob, I'm talking about Frank, this is all of us as men. We have not arrived. We have not arrived. But if we're willing to do that, that in of itself is part of the process of change.